Oh dear. Anyway, I'm live now. Hello, good evening. Hello and good evening. I do apologize. I look like the village idiot. And I am a bit late. So, my hair is a bit all over the place. A bit swept away. Yes, definitely. Sorry, we have the coughing of Lady Min in the background, which is not. She's not well. She claims she's got flu, but I think she's got hay fever. But there we are. So anyway, two of you come in. I'm very sorry we're late. We're 5 minutes late. Apologies. I do apologize for our terrible thing. Right. Anyway, cheers to you all. Anyway, welcome and hello. So, whilst we're waiting for a few more of you to come in, there are 18 of you already straight away. Yes, it's lovely to have Paulie and Chris and Francis and Paws and Claws and Stevie D and Expialidocious and Bev Cunningham and NWEV and Beck and Margaret, and there we are. Hello from Glasgow. Yes. Well, cheers to you all. Cheers to you all. So, whilst we wait for a few others, have you any of you any questions? Let's have a few questions from a few of you. We love having questions from viewers. So, and participants. So I don't know what you call it on YouTube, but it's a bit like TV, isn't it? So have we any questions? Let's have a few questions. Happy campers, yes. Well, there we go. Heidi hi, Heidi ho, says Expialidocious. Well, that's a bit of a TV show from a bit of a past. Yep. Anyway, cheers to you all. Cheers to you and cheers to me and cheers to me if we disagree. That's what I always say. There we are. So, any questions? It's not Radio 4, but there we are. Did I ever rate Michael Fabricant's performance as Tony Tucker in Arrays of the Foot Soldier films? I didn't know who Michael Fabricant was in the Tony Tucker, but I know who Tony Tucker was. Obviously, I knew who one of the Range Rover murder victims was. So I think all of those films were just a load of old tripe, absolute rubbish. The Range Rover murders were an appalling set of events because obviously those three men had their heads blown off in the back of a Range Rover down a country lane in Essex in the middle of the snow and and I know of the connection with people who I knew, and all these multiple films, ridiculous. A whole lot of it was a load of old ridiculous nonsense. Absolutely rubbish. And obviously there was the connection with Leah Betts, the poor girl the ecstasy victim. And, she drank too much water and she died because she took the ecstasy pill that they sold to her allegedly and all that on top of it. Look, they were horrible, horrible people. I never knew them, never met them. I knew the person who employed one of them, who ran the club called Attica, which was in Soho. He also owned clubs in Southend and all the rest of it, that poor girl died a horrible death, but they died a horrible death. But they weren't people who will be missed by many people. And I do believe that the two men who went to prison are probably the wrong two men who went to prison. They always refuse to admit their crimes. One of them is out of prison already, and the other one's still in prison, and, well, we'll see what happens. But honestly, those 3 revolting men in that Range Rover were evil, and I don't know why the world continues to glorify them. They were drug-dealing people. They were killing other people by what they did. They were sick in the head, revolting, evil people, so I'm not that bothered about them. I've never understood the enthusiasm for them. They were horrible, vile, sick in the head, twisted twerps. Not my kind of people. No. But the Range Rover murders, as they've become known, it's been made into multiple films. Do we need any more films on that? It's a bit like all these other silly stories. Let's, just stop glorifying a bunch of drug dealing evil bastards. Okay, they got shot, they got killed. Well, they didn't do nice things to other people, did they? So I'm not that bothered about them, to be honest. I really actually. Okay, I'm sorry they died, but I'm not sorry that they were. I'm not sorry they died, actually, because they were evil. They were going to do evil to more people. So it wasn't the end of the world when they died, was it? There we go. Oh, here we go. What was Kitty's connection to the craze? Well, Kitty did like to be photographed with the craze, yes. Cliff Richard was often photographed with them, yes, and Lord Boothby and all the rest of them. Lovely people. So Cliff Richard was a prime example of someone who got photographed with that kind of quality person. Anyway, I don't know why we've suddenly. I don't know why I got stuck on the that little story, but there we go. Okay. Good evening. Yes. Good evening to you all. Right. Am I on the Riviera? No, I'm not on the Riviera. I'm in a place just outside the Central Bay. So there we go. Yes. Yes, the palm tree is not swaying tonight like it was last night. It was swaying rather a lot, and you did all comment. And it is a bit lighter tonight, so the light is coming in. Right. Okay. What was Kitty's connections to the Crays? He used to meet them with Lord Boothby. There we go. That's about all I can say, really. I'm not an expert on Kitty, the Cliff Richard man, being connected with such people, but that's what he did. So Kitty did like a bit of time with such people. So there we are. What did I have for lunch today? I had duck, canard. Oh yes, lovely duck. Lovely restaurant. Very nice with a bit of mashed potato, roast duck, and mashed potatoes. So that was the plat de jour. I don't, always go for the plat de jour, but on this occasion I did. So there we are. Have I been on a private jet? Yes, I've been on a private jet a few times. I like a private jet. Right. Okay. Private jets can be jolly good fun. I do enjoy a PJ, and they are called a PJ if you go on them. Yeah, we love a PJ. And my favorite bar, of course, is PJ's, but that's nothing to do with private jets. So it's a different thing. So that's the irony of it to me. But I love going on a private jet. Yes, I have a wonderful time whenever I go on one. I've been to Kuwait on a private jet. I've been to many other places on private jets. I love private jets. Lovely way to travel because it's far more civilized. You fly out of a different kind of airport. You don't have to go through all that rubbish, and you're treated better. So it's a wonderful thing. Absolutely fabulous. But you know, frankly, would you pay for it if you had to? I don't know. I'm lucky to be a guest on these things. Right. Um, right. Next question. What do I think of King Charles's visit to Italy? I think King Charles's visit to Italy is wonderful. Well done him. Lady Min needs to wake up. The snoring is not a good idea. Right, snoring is boring. Now we've got coughing. I do apologize. So I'm just trying to make sure she doesn't stop snoring again. There we go. King Charles visiting Italy, absolutely fabulous. Well done to King Charles. Given his cancer treatment, what an amazing man. What an absolutely fabulous bloke that he can get on there and get on with things. He is not like his drip of a son. Look at that drippy, pathetic, whingy whiner who's moaning and groaning and, only turns up in the UK when his father's gone, isn't he? Isn't that sad? What a piece of wastrel. Absolutely appalling. So there we go. Anyway, there are 69 of you here. We're getting lots of you in. You see that Virginia is out of hospital. I don't know if Virginia. I haven't checked in on Virginia. I haven't checked in. Ooh, what's Virginia done now? So please tell me. Okay. Right. Right. I don't know what Virginia's done today. You see, I do go out for lunch, and I do go out and do things, and I don't actually. I make my notes. I have my notebook, lots of things to talk about, but I don't have a mobile phone sitting next to me, keeping ping, 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 ping. So I don't know what Virginia's done. Right, she's been discharged. Okay, well, Virginia's been discharged. Okay, well, I don't have anything to say about Virginia this evening, other than, well, she isn't dead, is she? I don't wish Virginia ill because I don't know her. I don't know anything about Virginia, but and I don't believe the photograph was a fake because I've seen the banister for my very self because I've been inside the house. I am one of the few people who has actually seen the evidence. The evidence is not fake. Victoria Harvey is talking a load of old rot because the banister is real. The bathtub is real. And I did my story with the Daily Mail, and I was paid for my story. I'm very happy to stand by my story because it was a full-size bathtub. So, shove it up your jumper if you don't agree with me, because I proved the facts. A fact is not a fact until you've proven it's a fact, and I proved it was a fact. So anyone who disagrees with me, bog off. I'm telling the truth. I know that the bathtub was the full-size bathtub. I know that the banister is real. She wore the same outfit that she wore on the yacht with Flavio Briatore and Bernie Bloody Eccleston. Yeah. This woman is a fake. No, she's not a fake. But of course, Ghislaine said nothing could have occurred because the bathtub was half-sized. Well, Ghislaine is a liar. And I proved Ghislaine to be a liar. I did this myself. I will stand by what I did. Come after me. If you don't agree with me, Victoria Harvey, I've had personally very nice, civilized conversations with Victoria Harvey whenever I meet her, but she's wrong on this occasion. The photo is real. The bathtub was full-sized. Prince Andrew does not need to be refunded, which is what she's now claiming. She wants him refunded. Ridiculous. The woman is off her merry rocker. I won't call her a lady because she's a woman. She's off her merry rocker. Totally deranged. Anyway, never mind. It doesn't matter. I just speak out and say whatever I think. So, right. Okay, next questions. Right. Beck thinks Virginia is very troubled. Well, I don't disagree with you. I don't particularly like this Virginia either. Myself, I wouldn't trust her with a bus ticket. But that's just my own view. It doesn't mean that she wasn't abused by them, but the problem is that she also brought in other people who were subsequently abused. I don't like that either. So I don't like that. Right. There we are. Right. Okay. So what's your next question on the same topic? How is Lady Min? Well, she's coughing an awful lot. I don't know why. We're trying to establish what that problem is. We have given her a glass of wine, which is what she wants. I don't know what else to do at this stage, but it's not my responsibility that if she chooses to drink wine. Right. Okay. Next question, please. Any more questions? Right. Okay. No more questions. So no more questions on the topic. Okay. We're not getting any more questions coming in. So you're incognito at the moment on a mission checking out a good liar. Oh. They're all levels of liar. So it's hatchy. Well, sounds like you're keeping yourself busy. I do apologize for the noise in the background. It's rather loud. Yeah. Yes. Have I ever met Eureka Johnson? Yes. Awful, god-awful, bloody bitch she is. Very rude to Sven-Goran Eriksson at the end of his life. She is a disgrace. She's a piece of toe rag. She's a 4x4, 4 kids by 4 dads. She's known as the village bike. Let's be honest. An appalling, wicked woman who dared to make fun of the death of poor old Sven. When he died of cancer, and she made horrible remarks. Eureka Johnson is one of the most revolting, disgusting, wickedest people on the planet. And I think she is actually vile. She is sick. She's twisted. She's moronic. She's a moron. She's messianic. She's vile. There's nothing good to say about what she did. What did Sven-Goran Eriksson do to her that was that bad? Look, she's a TV nobody. She's a no-hoper, and he was a footballing legend. And what did she do? She decided to come out with all these horrible things about him whilst he had cancer. And many members of my family have died of cancer. And my grandmother died of cancer. My aunt died of cancer. Many other people in my family have died of cancer. And I think that woman, no, she's not a woman. She's not even she's a rat bag. That piece of toe rag. How dare she be so cruel to people who are dying of cancer? And Sven-Göran Eriksson did her no harm. Seriously. And everybody criticized her on Twitter and all the rest of it. Yeah, she deserved it. She is disgusting. She is a piece of filth. She's a piece of scum, and she needs throwing away with the rubbish. And she needs turfing out with the toe rags that she belongs to. I think that Eureka Johnson is one of the worst people I've ever met. There you go. She's up there in the top 10. Because you don't attack someone who's dying of cancer in that way. What a horrible thing to do. She had an affair with him. She chose to have an affair with him. She must have found something attractive about him, mustn't she, before she chose to have an affair? So why does she need to be so nasty? Because she wants to bring attention to herself. That's all she cares about. She's one of those kind of people. Pain in the arse. That's what she is. Awful, 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 vile woman. Terrible. Look, he's dead. He's brown bread. It's over now. But he didn't do any harm. Seriously. What a nasty, nasty woman. Wouldn't you agree? Well, just what did she say about him? Just Google it. Google it. What do I think of Janet Street Porter? Well, she's another loudmouth, bloody pain in the arse. Awful. She's worse, says James Webb. No, nobody is worse than somebody like Eureka Johnson. No, you're wrong there, mate. Sorry, you're totally wrong, sir. Absolutely don't. She speaks very highly of me. Oh, well, okay. Finn, whoever you are, Finn Hagen. Well, you're entitled to your view as well. Why don't you bog off as well? I don't really like people who are nasty. There's no need to be nasty. And I can tell you that, my friend who had a relationship with Sven-Göran Eriksson, Nancy Dell'Olio. Nancy is a lovely lady. I like Fancy Nancy, as I call her. She is a kind-hearted, decent person. And okay, things didn't work out, but they ended their relationship in a very civilized fashion. So don't you start on me, and don't you start on her. How dare you? Whoever you are, why don't you bog off and shove it up your bloody jumper, you pest? You're an absolute piece of scumbag. This is not correct. Sven-Göran Eriksson was a lovely gentleman, and he died of cancer. And be respectful. How dare you? Whoever you are. I don't care whether you like me or you don't like her, and you don't like Nancy, and you don't like this, and you don't like that. You're absolutely boring. Whoever you are. You're tedious. Shove it up, you bloody jumper. Bog off. I don't need any more of this. Absolutely appalling, rude, nasty unkindness. Have some civility. Sven died of cancer. Have some respect. Please. What's wrong with you? There's something wrong with you in the head. Are you mental? Clearly you are. Anyway, that's all I shall have to say on to you. So next person, bring on the next nasty ranter, because there's loads of you out there. I love a bit of a rant, but anyway, you tell them, Matthew, says Jane Kelly. I'm very, very sorry, viewers. I just can't stand people who are so horrible. It's absolutely awful, isn't it? It's absolutely awful to have these horrible people shouting and being rude about people who are dead and dying, and isn't that cruel? Right. Am I a fan of Quadrophenia? I've heard of it, but I can't say I know much about it. But thank you, Barry, for your question. Perhaps you could educate me about it. That might be nice. That would be a pleasant thing to counter these horrible people, wouldn't it? So, yep, I'd love to know about it. Right. Okay. Right. Any more of you with her name was Eureka. Okay, well you wanted me to call her Eureka. Okay, well fair enough. We'll call her whatever you want, but she's vile. I call her shove it up her jumper and bog off. Not my kind of person. I call her the 4x4, 4 kids by 4 dads. That's what she is. She's a piece of filthy toe rag who dares to be nasty about people. So, to talk about people, a man who has cancer in the way that she did, shame on her. And I'm not alone in calling her out. Don't you worry. I am not the only person who dared say, he deserved to get cancer and die, basically, was what she said. And what a sick bitch. That man did no harm to her. Oh, she wouldn't be as famous as she was if she hadn't latched onto him. Oh, she was very good at grabbing onto the coattails of anybody she could. Hideous, horrible, vile woman. Eureka Johnson, the 4x4, 4 kids by 4 dads. Quality woman. Okay, my father has had multiple wives, I will admit. My mother's been married a couple of times. You know, nobody is innocent. I'm actually the only exception in my family because I'm the only one who's never got involved in anything because I just have realized that the best thing to do is keep well out of it. But Eureka Johnson, the 4x4, 4 kids, 4 dads. Seriously, put a sock in it, you stupid old sappy old bag. You are awful. You have attacked all these people and you've belittled them and treated them badly, and you have no shame. Shame on you, Eureka Johnson. You are one of the most revolting people on the planet. I've never come across anybody worse. Even Anthea Turner, everybody knows how much I loathe Anthea Turner and people like her, Lizzie Cundy and all that lot. Even they're better than you. You are lowbrow. There's no there's no lower brow than you. You are disgusting. You're just appalling. You're sick. I don't really like it. Okay, so right, who are we on to now? I am angry, says the desolate one. Okay, I don't know who I'm angry with. Who am I angry with? Barry says she's aged like a lizard. I'm not sure who's aged like a lizard. Are we talking Anthea or are we talking the other one? We need more people like Keith Floyd in the world. I would love to have more Keith Floyds in the world. I absolutely adore Keith Floyd. Keith Floyd is the most fabulous man. Well, he was. He's dead, obviously now. But I loved watching his programs. Absolutely the best. You can't have a better chef than Keith Floyd. Nope. Um, Gordon Ramsay. What a bore. I miss also the wonderful Gary Rhodes. Gary Rhodes, what a wonderful man! Him and his black pudding. Oh, I loved his black pudding, and he, of course, he was very involved in Broadstairs. So that was an interesting thing that I didn't know about until the end of my time there. But yeah, I loved him. Right. Okay. Yes. Black pudding. Yes. Black pudding is a very polarizing thing, and I love white pudding too. My friends in Northern Ireland, I got to know a lady who made black pudding and white pudding in Northern Ireland, and what an amazing lady she was. Oh, I'm very lucky to spend time with people in all manner of all walks of life, but to make white pudding, oh yes, I love a bit of white pudding, but of course most people don't like these things because they're a bit curious. So of course they won't want to have them, but I enjoy such things. So I'm very, 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 very lucky. TMTB said I've just looked up. TMTB will be looking up Keith Floyd and will be watching him cook. Yes, so you've never ever TMTB has never seen Keith Floyd. Lady Men, do you like Keith Floyd? Keith Floyd. She doesn't know who he is. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So you see, this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the inevitable of you know, ordinary people who don't have a clue. Right. Gino De Campo. No, I was never a great fan of Gino De Campo. What did you think of Gino De Campo? Hello? What do you think of Gino De Campo? She doesn't know who Gino De Campo is. Of course she does, but she's just pretending. Right. He's a tea leaf. Yes, he did get into trouble for stealing. Right. So there we go. Anyway, there's lots of you here. There's nearly 100 of you here. Once we get to 100, I'll start on a topic. Let's go down the road of a topic once I've got 100 of you. Gino De Campo. Right. You've never had white pudding or black pudding, says TMTB. There's an Irish restaurant near you, so you'll have to go for breakfast. Well, I would imagine you'd be able to have at least black pudding. I don't know. They're probably unlikely to have the white pudding. It's not really available everywhere. Right. White pudding is very filling, says Paulie. Black pudding is the best, says Stevie D. Okay. Well, I like both, so there we go. I am in Scotland, says Roxy Lee. Black pudding is lovely. White is not so much. Did I ever meet Marco Pierre White? Well, Marco is a dear friend. I love Marco, and I actually get on very well with his estranged wife, also Matty, and his children. So I know most of the family. Well, I know all of the family, but of the ones I get on particularly well with, I suppose Luciano is probably the one I get on with best. Let's be honest. But Marco is a very amazing man who has achieved a lot. But the family is a very troubled family. I can't really say any more than that, other than they are rather a troubled lot. there is no point interfering in their troubles because they are very troubled as a lot. But I wish them all the best. Marco is a very, very talented man. Right, Lady Min, wait, no snoring in the background, please. Can you wake up? I do apologize for the interruption. There we are. Sorry, I just want her to be able to be joining in a positive fashion rather than that. So, right, okay, you loved Marco and Keith Floyd. Yes, Marco and Keith Floyd, both of them brilliant people. Right, anyway, so I think it's about time I talked about something. There's over 100 of you here now. There's well over 100. There's much more than 100. Okay, so tonight I'd like to talk to you about the plantation pillocks. More woke wazzickery. Absolutely disgusting. On Twitter, I ran a poll. Now, let me have a look at my poll. I don't know if I can find it. Oh, God. This is where it's going to get problematic. Anyway, my poll, let's see what the results of my poll were. So on Twitter, I asked, do you believe that everything named plantation, Pierre's, rum, addresses, etc., should be renamed in order to satisfy the anti-racist campaigners? It's still got a few hours left to go because obviously I didn't do it in the way I meant to do it because I'm absolutely useless with computers. But the answer was yes, vile, offensive word, 10%. So 10% of the people that responded thought that it was vile, and no, what a load of old rot was 90%. So there we go. Anyway, that's where we're up to on the poll. So Plantation Wharf Pier in London has been renamed now St. Mary's Wandsworth by Uber boat by Thames Clippers, because Thames Clippers, Uber have taken over the Thames Clippers. We love the Thames Clipper boat. Lady Min likes the hello. Oi, you like going on the Thames Clipper, don't you? Yes, well, she's not saying much because she's falling asleep. But the Thames Clipper boat was very much a nice thing to go on because we could go and have a glass of wine on the back of the boat and go up and down the Thames. It's very civilized. Anyway, after criticized by anti-racism campaigners, according to The Guardian, I think this is an absolute load of nonsense. Yes, another load of old rubbish. So there we are. It's located between the Wandsworth Riverside Quarter and Chelsea Harbour Piers. Uber Boats by Thames Clippers acquired the site in 2019 and have been in consultation with the stakeholders. This is what The Guardian has to say. And residents from the wider local development to change the name after an outcry. An outcry. Oh, yeah, we always have to have an outcry, don't we? Bit of anger. Absolutely ridiculous. It's an inherited name from a nearby residential development, which is obviously called Plantation. Very offensive, eh? Are you really that triggered by the word? Because I'm not. Are you triggered? Are you feeling like you've been destroyed? Would you say your life has been taken into your own hands and you're going to kill yourself because someone said plantation? Ooh, gosh, isn't that scary? Absolutely appalling. It's sickening. The word plantation. Plantation. What does plantation mean to you? Please tell me. Please tell me what the word plantation means to you. Right. One of you said tea bags. People are too sensitive these days, says Jane. Anyway, critics of the name associated it, according to The Guardian, with colonialism and transatlantic slave trade. And then along comes our favorite person, our very favorite little dwarf, poisonous little pig in the woods. The evil, evil, evil person. Labour MP. Don't we love her? Lady men? Don't we love Labour MP Marsha de Cordova? The lady who doesn't like the word plantation? No, she's gone to sleep. Anyway, no point trying to get her involved. So Labour MP Marsha de Cordova has made it her single-handed little campaign. The lovely, and look her up, just Google her. She looks like a complete pain in the arse. Labour MP Marsha de Cordova has called for the housing development also to change its name. She describes the word as offensive. She is disappointed they haven't done so already. I encourage them, she says, to think about how a change of name could better serve our community and Battersea's shared values. Cordova added, the term plantation carries highly offensive connotations, does not serve the wonderful diversity. Is this woman serious? Has she nothing better to do? Of Battersea's residents, and awakes a mockery of the violent history of chattel enslavement. Having campaigned to change the peer's name, I am pleased this has been achieved. It marks an important step forward in how we structure our public spaces. Is this woman not just worse than the village idiot? Because I think she is. Sorry. I am appalled and shocked by the fact that this stupid, bigoted woman can get away with it. Save our UK farmers, says Roxy Lee. Yes, I stand with the farmers. Do you like Marsha de Cordova? Please press 1 if you like Marsha de Cordova, and please press 2 if you think you loathe Marsha de Cordova. That's what I say. 1 or 2. 1 or 2. Let's have a few opinions. 2. Janet Jackson doesn't like her. Thank you, Janet, and thank you, N. Have we got any ones coming in for Marsha de Cordova? No. Pipfield, no. Right. Anyway. Nope. No fans for her. Anyway. Meanwhile, there was another little idiot who got herself involved in the whole story. Her name is Rachel. God knows who she is and where she's from. Rachel Ferron. She was head of entertainment at ITV, and in 2021, she went to the Ivy restaurant somewhere near this place. Now, this little winch bag had dinner and she was served some plantation rum. Can you imagine the crime of this disgusting thing? Can you imagine how awful it was? She was nearly poisoned with some plantation rum. It's like an Agatha Christie tale. She was nearly murdered with Agatha Christie's terrible plantation rum. I am not exaggerating. This was a ridiculous state of affairs. This silly woman drank of saw on a menu something that triggered her. She felt triggered. She was so upset. She was so offended. It could not make her feel worse. So what happened to this dreadful silly woman was that she complained and she made a point. And as she walked past the development after she'd had the awful evening in the awful Ivy restaurant that she, this rich bloody bitch could afford to go to. So she was so offended. And she walked past the development and she realized how terrible the thing was. And, all the people who were let down by promoting the slavery and all the rest of it, she made a complaint. So she said she was struck by what she described as a shocking pattern of normalized references to slavery. Are these people completely cuckoo or are they fucking gaga? I think they are off their merry rockers. There's so much more in the world that we need to fix first. Let's be honest. These nutters. The Ivy removed because of her, because she was Mrs. ITV. The Ivy removed all reference to the plantation rum. They got rid of it. Plantation rum was subsequently renamed by the brand owner Maison Fernand as Plantery, but it took them a bit of time. Trademarking in 120 countries caused delays, and she made a point of banging on about that. Afterwards, she said, "This is a welcome advancement, and I am proud that I was integral to this long overdue change, but there is still work to do, and I would urge any company to remove associations with slavery from their branding. This was my own little protest." Yeah, we're little pain in the ass. But that's how wider change then often starts. Seriously. Who do these fucking people think they fucking are? They are bloody grim, and they're worse than grim and grimmer. And that's a couple I knew from Broadstairs. They were awful. Plantation, is a word, a French farming term originally, not malicious, just for an estate where crops such as coffee, sugar, and tobacco are grown. For God's sake, grow up, man up, show up, behave yourself, get real, stop whinging, stop whining. You're an absolute bunch of bores. Absolutely appalling, those people. Anyway, grim and grimmer, LOL. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm very. I hope they're watching because I couldn't stand the couple. You didn't like Grim and Grimmer, did you, men? No, she's not listening. She's fallen asleep. Right. Anyway. Right. Do I need to apologize for swearing? No. I'm not going to apologize. Why should I? Don't need to. Plenty of swearing on this YouTube. So there we are. Anyway, right. Next topic. So moving along. Anyway, more topics. Anyway, any topics, anyone? All right. Okay. Well, I will talk about something else if you wish me to. I'll talk about Margaret Thatcher. So, yesterday I talked about Margaret Thatcher, and I did make a few references on this thing, Threads. I don't know what this thing Threads really is. It's completely boring. It's absolutely ghastly, and most of the people on it are hideous. And, well, I spoke about Margaret, and, Margaret was a dear friend. Margaret Thatcher was a lovely, wonderful lady, and she changed the world. Margaret changed the world for the better. The people who are on Threads, whoever you are, you bunch of scumbags, most of you, there were a few positive comments, but the majority of the comments, and I got hundreds and hundreds of nasty messages from people having a go at Margaret. Ding dong, the witch is dead and all that. Seriously, whoever you are, shove your bloody comments up your jumper. I'm not going to even dignify you by quoting any of them because the nastiness was just appalling. What is wrong with people? I didn't get it. I didn't get the appalling abuse that I received. Look, I can understand that Margaret was polarizing, but the comments I received were to do with Satan and Hitler and all these kind of things. Please go away, whoever you are. I have never, ever, ever had so many nasty, horrible things sent to me in my life. Why don't you just run off and shove it up your jumper? Because Margaret was a dear friend to me, and I loved Margaret, and I think Margaret was a fabulous lady. So leave Margaret alone. Let Margaret rest in peace. You disgusting, despicable pigs, because that's what you are. Nobody should pick on her after what she did. She did more for the world than you will ever do in your half your finger. You twisted twerps. Bog off. Absolutely appalling. Right. Right. Okay. Leave Margaret alone. Yes, I agree, Matt Grant. It's absolutely awful what they said, but I don't want to quote anything that they said because I don't think we should give them airtime. They're not worthy of even a minute, but there are hundreds of them. Oh, I had hundreds of them. And, it's ding dong, the witch is dead type thing, and they're just twisted, these people. Vile. But there's a lot of vile people in the world, I'm very sorry to say. But Margaret wouldn't have cared anyway. She would just, as Margaret rightly once said, socialism doesn't work because you eventually run out of other people's money. That's the kind of thing that Margaret would respond with to such morons. They're just a bunch of twits. Let's be honest. Margaret was fabulous. You couldn't, we haven't had a politician of any decency ever since she left. And I miss her very much. She was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lady. And I was very lucky to spend time with them. I didn't spend as much time, lots of other people spent more time with her, but I did spend some time with her, and I thought she was a lovely, lovely lady, so I'm very lucky. Right, okay. Well, now we're getting all the others coming in, piling in who don't like her. Okay. Okay, well, if you don't like her, you don't like her. That's your choice. Right, okay. Right, okay, right. You're criticizing her again. She stopped the milk in the schools and da 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 da. Oh, please. Seriously. Was she fun? NVNWEV. She was great fun to spend time with. Absolutely love it. I used to have a gin and whiskey with her, and I'd always have a gin and tonic with Dennis. So when I was a child, yep. Anyway, you love King Charles, so do I. An absolutely fabulous gentleman. Wonderful. Hmm. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Look, I realise that many of you don't like fair enough, but there's no need to be abusive. And the nasty comments are disgusting. Absolutely appalling. I don't like people who make revolting remarks of that type. And I could do a name and shame, and I will. I don't see the point because I just can't be bothered. But absolutely horrible. No one is being abusive. Really? I've had a load of abuse. I've had hundreds of messages of abuse, so please, you're completely wrong. Absolutely off the scale. There you go. Are you completely nuts? Right. Hunger strikers. Oh, God. Them. They're a bunch of nutters. Yep. There's lots of nutters in the world, that's for sure. There's lots of lunatics. Oh, dear. Hmm. Mm. I'm not sure who Truelli is, the desolate one. What are my thoughts on Lord Mountbatten? But your spelling is right. Anyway, no, I don't have many thoughts about Lord Mountbatten. Right, okay. You want to have a quiz? You can be abusive. Oh, I'm abusive, am I? Oh. Jules says I make terrible comments about people who I don't like. Hmm. Well, I just share my views. So if you don't like my views, log off. You know, if you take your views elsewhere, if you want to have your views, have your views. I don't really care. I'm not saying you can't have your own views. But no. Right. Okay. Okay. Well, no, I'm entitled to my view, and you're entitled to your view. So keep your own view and do what you want with your own view. I don't have to join in with your view, do I? I'm not really interested in your view. Since you think that I'm such an offensive person, so shove your view up your own arse. Or just enjoy your own view. Because clearly you don't have the respect of my views, so bog off with your view. I'm not really interested in people who try and patronize me and talk to me in that way. So why don't you put your own view up your arse? That's where it belongs. I'm not interested in your view. In fact, I'm totally uninterested in your view because people who patronize me can bog off. Bog off and shove it up your arse. That's what I say. Well said to me. I'm actually very happy. I don't need to be patronized by any single person on the entire planet. I've absolutely had enough of people who are so pompous and patronizing. So bog off and shove it up your arse. There we go. Right. Okay. Next. Anyway, there we are. So no, I won't be responding to that moron, whoever that moron is. Boring person, bog off. Go away. How articulate. You don't like me, okay? Well, why don't you bog off as well? So don't you dare attack me. I'm entitled to have a view. I'm just sick of people attacking me. I'm bored of this. It's tedious. If you don't like me, don't bother following me. Go away. If you want to shout at me, go away. If you want to have a debate with me, write back and we'll speak and we'll do it properly. But not just shout at me. How boring. Absolutely tedious. How childish. What are you? Like a 5-year-old? You pathetic little squid. No, they don't like it, do they? Precisely, Hatchy Hatchy. Well said. Is it a bug off or a bog off? It's a bog off. It's a definite bog off for them. No, nobody, if they can't be bothered to speak properly and can't be bothered to debate properly, it's bog off. Bog off. There's no bug off. No, I don't do that. I'm not an American. Lee Fern loves me. Okay, thank you, Lee Fern. That's very kind of you to say. They are pond life, the lot of them, says Lewis. Yes. The desolate one says 100% agree. Matthew has the right to view his mind and opinion. He's a gent, not an idiot. Well, that's very kind of you to say. I'm not saying I'm totally right. These people have a right to an opinion, but they're just trying to provoke me. They're just a bunch of twits. I don't know where we find these morons, but they come in from the woodwork and well, they should shove themselves up their own jumpers, shouldn't they? Let's be honest, because that's where they belong. Let's be honest. Those people belong up their own jumpers. They're complete boring nitwits. I don't need any more of them. The minute they start, they just make me upset. What's the point of having a discussion with a moron? Because you're never going to win. You may as well just send them on the merry road to hell. So let's just throw them out before we begin, because they're just twits. This lot, this bunch of people. They want to provoke us. They don't like us. They hate us. They think that we're right-wing fascists and that we're evil and and I'm lying about Madeleine McCann and all that rubbish. So better off just to say no. we're better off just to walk away from the conversation at the beginning, because these people are cuckoo fruitcakes, and they are. But they don't like it that we dare even criticize them. So for speaking out, I get even treated even worse. Anyway, I'm going to continue to speak out because that's who I am. I am a free voice. I'm allowed to speak out. Wouldn't you agree? No, she's gone to sleep. She's not going to contribute. But is there anyone else out there who wants to agree with me? Am I not allowed to say what I think? Tell them to fuck off, says NW. Yes, well, thank you. Roxy Lee says yes. Right. Josie, well, Lady Min is allowed to speak whenever she wants to speak, but she's fallen asleep, so I can't really help someone falling asleep. Right. Okay. So, anyway. Right. Lois says, I watch you because you say what you think. I do. I stand by what I think. I've already told you. I don't think that these people are correct. Sorry. Don't like them. If they want to bully me, they can bog off. And they do. So, no, I'll stand up to anybody. Not scared, not worried about it. Right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, says Mary Page. Okay. So, right, we can do our quiz. I think it's about time we did our quiz. I think that'd be more fun. Let's have a quiz. I don't know if anyone wants to do a quiz. Maybe if you don't want to do a quiz, we won't bother. Nope. Lois wants a quiz. Lauren wants a quiz, and so does Woodsocks. Right, okay. Well, I've got a quiz. We're not doing 3 quizzes tonight, though. I can't be doing that again. Oh my God, I've got 2 in front of me now. Right, okay. I can always write another one tomorrow. It's very difficult to do multiple quizzes. Right, we'll begin with, well, you might have 1 or 2. You all love the quiz. So let's have a bit of fun. We're going to do a quiz. I'm very sorry she's coughing. Poor Lady Min is not very well. I think she needs a blanket. Would you like a blanket?
No, I'm okay.
Would you like to join in with the quiz?
I'll try.
Right, okay. She's trying to join in. She won't be. Stevie D will help tonight. Okay, Stevie D, thank you. Yes, well, we now have. Right, okay. So let's try and do a quiz. I think that's what we should do next, because I think it's better than going on about these ghastly people. They are awful, and how dare they be so rude? And yeah, we've had a lot of rudeness. It's not good. I don't need any of this anymore. I don't like people who attack Margaret. Anyone who attacked Margaret, shame on you. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, horrible things.
Margaret is one of the best people. Margaret Thatcher was one of the best people ever to have existed on this planet, in my view. Shame on every single one of you that has dared to attack such a beautiful, wonderful, lovely lady who brought joy and changed and transformed Britain for the better, for a start. She was one of the dearest friends of my family, and I have to say, I was so lucky. I had a spectacular life because I got to spend time with the lovely Margaret Thatcher. Margaret and Carol, her beautiful daughter, I loved. I love Carol also. Carol is a fabulous lady, and it's great that Carol's got married and is very happy. Um, I think that Dennis was such a wonderful man. Dennis was a joy to spend time with. I used to enjoy every moment that I spent with Dennis, and but Margaret, she transformed the world. This is a lady that brought freedom to all of you. Without people like Margaret, none of you would have even been free. We could have been under Soviet rule. Margaret saved every single one of you from being locked up under some kind of ridiculous rule. Margaret is our savior. So let's celebrate Margaret. Margaret Thatcher brought freedom to everyone. What a wonderful lady. So I want you all to celebrate Margaret bringing freedom. That is what I say. Margaret is the voice of the free. That is what she is. Reagan was a blessed saint too, says one of you. Okay. Well, yeah. But Margaret led the way. And Margaret brought in Gorbachev. So Margaret brought in everybody. Margaret was the uniter. She was absolutely fabulous at connector. She was a connector. She was a brilliant connector, and she did a brilliant job. Yeah. No. I don't have a problem with Ronald Reagan. Of course, I think Ronald Reagan was a lovely man, but he wasn't as great as Margaret. Margaret did the job. She connected everybody because she knew how to get things done. She was a clever woman. This woman was a genius. They all came together because of her. She put the dots together. Come on. Seriously. She was the Iron Lady. Yes, of course she was. She was fabulous. This lady had dignity and she had decency and she put everybody together. She made the elephant in the room go away. What an amazing lady. So please celebrate Margaret Thatcher and stop whinging and whining about her, you stupid people. There's nothing wrong with Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher was a fabulous person. Stop saying she was evil and you're all bonkers. Go away. Shut up. Anyway, Margaret was the best. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
We want to celebrate Margaret Thatcher. We love Margaret Thatcher, and we're not going to shut up about celebrating her because, unlike most of you, I actually knew her, and I know that she was one of the most fabulous people on the entire planet. So I've never ever met, I don't think I'll ever meet anyone who can surpass her. I've met some amazing people. I met Omar Sharif. I've met all sorts of other wonderful people. but Margaret Thatcher is the number one. She is simply the best. She is the best of all the rest. Wouldn't you agree?
Cheers to Margaret.
We love Margaret Thatcher. Nobody will ever tell me that Margaret Thatcher isn't the best person on the planet. Sorry. She is to me. And I will never in my lifetime ever change my mind. Margaret Thatcher is the very best person I've ever met on the entire planet. There we go. I love Margaret Thatcher. Right. Right. Next questions. Oh. You want a quiz? Right. We're going to get a quiz in a moment. Okay. I'm going to go and have a brief break, and I'll be back to do a quiz. So we'll do a quiz. Right. I'm going to go and quickly use the bathroom area because I do feel the need. And then I will do a quiz. Okay. Right.
What are you doing now?
I'll be back in 1 moment.
I'd like to go there.
Well, you might, but I need to go.
Oh.
I'm going to start doing my program.
Go and have a window.
No, I haven't made any. Oh,
Oh. I'll be alright.
I haven't flushed it.
Anything that's dry.
The noise. You want something else?
I don't know.
I'm sure
I might be alright, but
we'll have that.
yeah, those are nice. My jammies.
Anyway, I'm going to get going on my program.
Oh.
Right. Okay. Hello. Yes. Hello. Hello. Right. Off we go. Hello. Are we here? Can you hear me? Yes, says Lois. Right. Are we ready to do a quiz? You are ready. Who's going to help me do the quiz? Right. Lauren says, I'll help you. Okay, right. Well, I'll take notes as well. But Lauren, here we go. Yes. No, she doesn't have pneumonia. No, of course she doesn't have pneumonia. There we go. No, she just needs to start eating food and being rational in her behavior. No. So, no. Right. Anyway, let's start this quiz. What is the Christian name of Rishi Sunak's billionaire's wife? What is her name? It's not Anushka, no. It's not Joe Evans. It's not Scylla. It's not Sarah. It's not Scylla. It's not Anita. It's not Sabrina. It's not Margaret. It's not Naomi Watts. It's not bronchitis. It's not Reva. It's not Bernadette. The winner is, of course, James Webb. Well done, James Webb. You get a point. James Webb, you are number one. So you get the first point. James Webb is Akshata. Okay. Well done. Right. Next question. Which royal is associated with toe sucking? Which royal is associated with toe sucking? Daniel Wildgoose, you win because it's Fergie. It is Fergie, John Bryan and the Texan and all of that. Okay, in which year did the pension pot plundering, bouncing Czech Robert Maxwell die when he fell off the back of his yacht on bonfire night? Daniel gets the point again. So Daniel's now got 2 points. Of course, it was 1992. Was he peeing off the back of the boat, or was it Mossad, or was it Ghislaine telling lies, or whatever? How many holidays did Ghislaine Maxwell, that is, take with Prince Andrew in 2000 and 2001? What number of holidays did she take? Lauren gets the point straight away. Lauren, you're very quick. It was 8. So Lauren gets the point. There were 8 holidays during that period. The Queen and Sarah Ferguson were reportedly very upset by his new lifestyle. Wasn't that appalling? Absolutely awful. Okay, so what is the profession of the of Idris Elba? What was his profession? Lois gets the point. Well done, Lois. Lois Petzold, Pet gets the point. The profession is actor. In which year did Michelle Mone, Baroness Mone, get accused of telling an Indian wealth manager he was a waste of a white man's skin in a text message? In which year? It wasn't 2023, no. It wasn't 2024. It wasn't 1995. It wasn't 2012. It wasn't 2020. Matt Grant gets the point. Well done to Matt Grant. You get the point. It was 2021. No, she made a payment in settlement in 2022 for calling an Indian wealth manager a waste of a white man's skin in a text message. Isn't she vile? We'd all like to see Michelle Mone thrown in a pit. She is truly one of the most repugnant women on the planet. No wonder she lives on the Isle of Man, because she couldn't live anywhere else. Because frankly, nowhere else would have her. Disgusting old bitch. Anyway, right, next question. Is there an official language in the US of A? Is there an official language of US of A? Yes or no? Matt Grant, it gets a second point because, of course, the answer is no. There are over 500 languages spoken overall in the US of A. I tried this question out on Lady Min the other day, and she probably doesn't remember. But anyway, how many children does the old Etonian fox hunting supporting actor Dominic West have as of 2025? He's got rather a lot. It's not 6. Matt Grant gets a third point. Matt Grant, you're now in the lead. Of course, it is 5. He's got 5 children right now. In which year did the Pilgrim Fathers on board the Mayflower arrive in Massachusetts? In which year did the Pilgrim Fathers arrive? It wasn't 1623, no. It wasn't 1558. It wasn't 1870.
1066.
It wasn't 1066. No, Lady Min shouts that in the background. No, none of you are even getting any closer. Right. I would think this would be an easy one. It's not Min's Battle of Hastings, no. I know you want to bring Min into everything, but Min is now a famous face. Right, okay. Matt Grant can have the point. So now you're very much in the lead because you've now got 4 points, Matt Grant. Of course, it is 16-20. Is the word means singular or plural? Is the word means, MEANS, is it a singular or a plural? Well, none of you got it correct, because of course the answer is both. So I'm going to discount you all. Zero answer to you all. Means is a both uncountable word. As a child, my tricycle was my favorite means of transport, but I realized that there were other means of getting around too. So there you go. So means is a word that could be both. So no. Anyway, I'm not going to allow anyone the point because you've all failed. Because none of you have ever understood my question. Anyway, there we go. Never mind. Doesn't matter. You failed, all of you. Every single one of you has failed on that one. Okay. What other than fruits such as red currants, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, and blackberries is the primary other ingredient in a juice soaked fruit thing? Well, the answer was bread. Summer pudding. Okay, Zara gets the point. Zara, you can have. Zara can have the point. It was a summer pudding. Which sport brought the TV host Gary Lineker to public prominence? Which sport? Lewis Dennis says, "Am I pissed?" Well, I'm probably more. I'm probably not as pissed as you are, Lewis. So bog off, whoever you are. Why don't you bog off? I don't really need to have aggressive people attacking me. What's wrong with you? Viewers, am I pissed? Please tell me. Am I pissed? Lewis thinks I'm pissed. Right. Mm. Anyway, well, if they don't like it, why don't they bog off? Don't need them here, do we? Right. The question is, which sports brought the TV host Gary Lineker to public prominence? It wasn't Margaret Thatcher. Nope. Trevor gets a point. No, it's not Trevor who gets the point. Sorry. Oops. James Webb. Second point for James Webb. It is football. Yes. Anyway, these angry people. It was James Webb who got the point. Right. How many zeros are there in 1 billion? How many zeros?
6, 7, 8.
There are not 10, no. Josie gets it right. Josie Maldani, Josie M. There are 9 zeros, of course, in a billion. Which actress played Gail Platt, my good friend, and multiple other names given she had many other marriages in Coronation Street until her retirement in 2024 after 50 years in her role in Coronation Street? Daniel gets the point. Yes, it was the lovely Helen Worth. And Helen is a lovely lady who lives just behind the Enterprise in Knightsbridge. She's an absolutely wonderful lady. She was married to my friend who sadly died, who was Michael Angelis, who was the voice of Thomas the Tank Engine. They split up and they had a bit of a bad divorce, but I like both of them. What an amazing lady. You know, and I don't know what she's going to do next, but she's now married to a school teacher, and I've no idea what she'll do next. But well done to Helen Worth, 50 years in a soap opera. What an amazing thing to achieve. She chose at the end of the 50 years to say goodbye. What a fabulous thing to do. And we loved Michael Angelis. No. He was such a great friend. And his lovely wife that he subsequently married. She was fabulous. I liked her very much too. So, you know, but Helen, what a lovely lady also. So well done to her, and you know, great things. Name drop, you say? Well, yeah. Well, I don't give a damn if I'm doing a name drop. I'm just saying, what a wonderful lady that achieved something. It's nice to celebrate people who are successful and achieve. So why don't you bog off and go off somewhere else if you don't like our comments? So if you don't like my comments, I'm giving you a story. I'm giving you something interesting that's different, actually. So if you don't like it, go off and shove it up your jumper. I'm really bored of people like you. Cilla Black types. Yeah, precisely. Yeah, well said. Yeah, that's what she is. Whoever she is, some jealous old bag. Oh, go away. Anyway, cheers to the lovely people who are good. I don't need to be told off by anybody. I'm just telling a nice story. And that's not very nice when people criticize a nice story. It's nothing to do with me. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about some nice people who have achieved. So bog off. Shove it up your jumper. Nope, not tolerating nasty people like that. Anyway, next question. Where were we up to? I don't even remember which question I'm up to now because I've been put off. Oh my God. Absolutely awful. I've been totally put off, haven't I? No, I've been totally put off. I don't know. I can't remember which question we were on. What was the last question? It was about Helen Worth. Yes, of course. The question, the page I'm holding is not got Helen Worth on it. Oh yes, here we are. Okay. Who once said, write drunk, edit sober? Who once said, write drunk, edit sober? It wasn't me, but definitely I'd agree with it. TMTB gets the point. TMTB. Right. It's Oscar Wilde, of course, in 1900. How many days did Liz Truss last as Prime Minister? How many days did she last? It was not 44, it wasn't 40, it wasn't 43, it wasn't 100. Jules B gets the point. Jules B. It was, of course, 49. Last less time than the letters. Okay, in which county would you find Fanny Lane? Where would you find Fanny Lane? Fanny Lane. Where is Fanny Lane? It's not Dorset, it's not Wales, it's not Cork, it's not Berkshire, it's not Leeds, it's not Peckham. London isn't a county. It's not Sussex, it's not Crouch End, that's not a county either. Not Lancashire, it's not Ann Summers, that's not a county. Right. It's not near Littlehampton, no. No, which county? I don't care. I need the county. It's not Cornwall, it's not Kent, it's not Rutland, it's not Yorkshire, it's not Surrey, not Essex. It's not a crude joke. Well, no, it's just a place. There is a place called Fanny Lane. No, right. Okay, nobody gets that point. I'll ditch that one. So I think our winner on this particular quiz is Matt Grant. Well done to Matt Grant. Lady Min, what do you say?
Didn't hear that.
What do you say to Matt Grant, who wins the quiz?
Oh, well done.
She says, well done to Matt Grant. Matt Grant got 4 points. I believe Daniel Wild Goose got 3 points. James Webb got 2 points. So
must have been very hard.
You must have done very well between you. Anyway, as you're all so willing, I'll do another quiz. I'll do another one. I'll do another quiz because I've got so many quizzes. Right, I'll have to write some more tomorrow. Right. Would you like another quiz? Is somebody ready to keep notes? Twice a night, yes. Are you ready for another quiz? Are you ready?
Yes, no, 3 bags full.
Who is going to take notes whilst I try and keep notes? I'll just do it on the other side of this piece of paper because it's very hard to. Right, ready? You want more quiz? Yes, you like quiz. Okay. Your first question. In which county is Le Manoir or Quatre Saisons, founded by Raymond Blanc, to be found? In which county? Which county? It's not Cornwall. It's not Kent. It's not beautiful. Zara gets it. Zara gets the first point. Well done, Zara. Of course, it's Oxfordshire. Okay, what are pimientos? What are pimientos? Pimientos with a Pimientos. Right. Now, this is going to be a little more complicated to decide. Right. Okay, I've got to choose which one of you gets it right first. Right. I think James Webb was first. So, James Webb, you are correct. It is pepper. James Webb. Right, you get 1 point. James Webb, you can have the point. Okay. Right, next question is going to be how many times has the convicted criminal fraudster and Formula One head honcho Bernie Ecclestone been married as of 2025? How many times has he been married? It is not 4, it's not 5. James Webb, you get a second point. Well done. It is 3 times, of course. Bernie has been married to Ivy, Slavica, and Fabiana. The evil coffin-dodging little dwarf has been married 3 times. There you go. Okay. How many times out of 28 runs did the racehorse Lost in Translation win? How many times? Kathy gets it straight away. Kathy, whoever you are, you're clever, Kathy. You are right. It's 6. It won £420,000 in prize money for those 6 runs. So what an amazing horse. Okay. What was the name of the husband that her family didn't know about when she was arrested that Ghislaine Maxwell married? What was the name of the husband that Ghislaine Maxwell married? They're now divorced, of course. What was their name? It wasn't Epstein. It wasn't Margaret Thatcher. No, it wasn't Bobby Brown. It wasn't Ivor Biggin. It wasn't Timmy Mallet. Well, got him. He was horrible to me. I hated him as well. I hated him so much. I couldn't stand that Timmy Mallet. My grandmother didn't like him either. There's a story. It wasn't John Smith. What was the name of Ghislaine Maxwell's husband that nobody ever knew about until she got arrested?
Oh,
You don't even know. Peter Tobin? No, you're all wrong. Fanny McGuinness? Okay, so you're failing on this one. I'm amazed. I can't believe you're so useless. Come on, you people. Man up, grow up, and show up. You must know this. It wasn't Petra Dish. It wasn't Tom Jones. Okay, fail. You failed to answer the question. Of course, his name was Scott Borgerison. You stupid people. You're absolutely worse than the village idiots. Absolutely shocking. Right, okay. Okay, right. Okay. I'm going to give you another question. You're probably now, given you're so stupid, you probably won't be able to answer this. Which subsequently murdered mother supposedly said of her sons, I hate my kids. They're parasites, actually. They scare me. It's just pathetic. Who were they? No, I need the name of the mother, the woman that said it. I need the name. Lisa Santes can have it because she says Mrs. Menendez. Lisa. Okay, you get a point. It was, of course, Kitty Menendez. Nasty woman. Okay. Which former Archbishop of Canterbury said in March 2025 that he'd let God down and hopes to fade into total obscurity? What was the name of him? Matt Grant gets a 5th point. Matt Grant is our definite winner here. Matt Grant, sorry. Matt Grant is getting a new point here in our new quiz. Oops. Yes, it's of course. He's correct. Okay. Right. What sport is Marcus Rashford associated with? Marcus Rashford. James Webb gets the point. Oh, you're doing very well here in the new quiz, James. You are now the leader. You got 3 points. It is football. All right, James Webb, very well done. On the 31st of March 1969, which self-titled debut album did Led Zeppelin release? The 31st of March 1969. It wasn't Snookered. No. It wasn't Led Zeppelin. It was Led Zeppelin. It wasn't The Dark Side of the Moon.
Yoko.
It wasn't Yoko. It wasn't Led Zeppelin 2. So the answer is, given none of you are capable, I'm going to cross that one off. It was in 1980. So, no, not going to give any of you that point. So let's forget that one. At the moment, we have James Webb in the lead. Well done. So, right. Which British cook once said, "I have done lamb's liver in 14 different ways, and there is no 15th way of doing it." Which British cook said that? It wasn't Oliver Jamie. It wasn't Ainsley Harriott. It wasn't Marco White. It wasn't Hannibal Lecter. Jan Smith does get it correct, but you don't spell correctly. I think you're a bit drunk, whoever you are.
Forget the spelling.
No, I will not allow people not to spell correctly. So if you want to spell it correctly, come back at me again. Come back at me with the correct spelling. Yes. I want correct spelling. Matt Grant gets a 6 point because, of course, it is Delia Smith. Delia Smith said this. Okay. Right. To which political party did the Justice Secretary and two-tier justice alleged allower Shabana Mahmood belong to as of 2025? Which Becky, you have the point. Becky P. Okay, right. It was Labour. Yes, so you win the point. Okay, there was an easy, quick one. I don't know where. Okay, in which country is the town that considers itself largely working class called Clacton-on-Sea located? Now, which county? Jaywick is not the county. No, Trevor gets the point. Trevor. Well done, Trevor. It is Essex. Which of her children did Cherie Blair overshare the conception of at Balmoral? Which one did she bang on about having at Balmoral? The winner immediately is Matt Grant again. You're well in the lead. Because, of course, it was Leo. She went on about it. How horrible. Okay. In what year did Twitter fly into action and begin? What year did Twitter first exist? It wasn't 2005. It wasn't 2012. Matt Grant, yet another point. Oh my God, Matt Grant is like the glorious winner in all of this quiz. Okay, what does the TRETM stand for? What does TRE stand for? TRE. It's not trademark, no. No, it's not blasted. It's a bit odd. Not trade eco. No, none of this. No, I don't think you get it. Okay, we'll give 0 points for that as well. That's Talk Radio Europe. You got that wrong, so 0 points awarded. Okay, in which country is the natural harbour of Brest located? In which country is the natural harbour of Brest? Josie Maldani gets the point. Josie. So Josie gets the point. Well done, Josie. How many square kilometers does the Great Barrier Reef cover? What is the size of the Great Barrier Reef in square kilometers? It's not 100, it's not 5,000. It's not 500. It's not 3,000. No. It's not 2 million. It's not 7. It's not 1 billion. It's not 4,400. No. It's not Margaret Thatcher. Right, okay. I think none of you can have that one. You all failed on that one as well. So let's ditch the question. Right. The answer, of course, is 344,000 square kilometers. So you failed on that one, so we don't count that. Okay. Next, the very last question. What does the fashion designer Ralph Lauren have an immense collection of? What is his collection? What does he collect? What is his personal passion? No, it's not flags, it's not yachts, it's not handbags, it's not underpants. Oh God, you're all useless.
Yeah.
You're absolutely rubbish. It's not pottery, it's not golden balls and Matt Grant, you win again. Well, Matt Grant has now proven himself a real winner. Of course, the collection is a £350 million collection of classic cars. So everybody else is rather stupid here. Matt Grant has got 8 points. Matt Grant has managed to score 8 out of the 20 questions. So there we go. Anyway, we're not going to do any more quizzes tonight because I think I've done enough. No more. Time for me to go to bed. It's absolutely, definitely time for me to go to bed. But thank you for your kind participation. You know, we've done all sorts. So, no, it's time for me to say good night, good night, good night, good night, and happiness galore. So, yeah. Anyway, you've been wonderful. Thank you very much to you all. But it's time for me to say I need to go to sleep. I need an early night. And tomorrow I'm not going to get up very early because I really need a lie-in. For once in my life, I will have a lie-in. I'm tired. I'm very, very... No, it is time to have a lie-in. So, there we go. Yes, the lady in the background is making noises, making fun of this. But no, I would like to have a lie-in tomorrow. I think I need to sleep. I'm tired. There we go. So, my thanks to you, and we'll see how we can be in the morning. But no, I'm ready to go to sleep. But it's just I'm tired. I'm very, very tired. I've reached a point, and yeah. Thank you for being good friends. It's been wonderful to have all my wonderful good friends being kind, but I have to eventually say, look, I'm looking awful. I'm ready to go to sleep. I look like, oh, I'm falling asleep. I need to go to sleep. And I really, really, really do need it. So I'll say good night. Okay. Thank you. Thank you and good night. Thank you to my wonderful viewers. You've been fabulous. You've been wonderful. And I say thank you and good night. Bye bye.